I, 27F, accidentally found my husband's 30M porn. I found my husband's porn stash by accident. To preface this, we have an open phone policy and I was not looking/snooping for anything bad when I found it. Basically, I was in my husband Reddit history tab looking for a post he had said he'd send me but never did. I didn't mention to him I was going to look for it because we have an open phone policy and use each other's phone/social media all the time. Not for any bad reason, we've just both felt like we never had anything to hide. So my phone is his phone, and vice versa. Well, as the title says, the first thing I got hit with when I opened it was porn. Lots of it and all recently viewed. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled to see if I could just get past it, and it seems like he's been looking at a specific subreddit every single day. Most of it isn't random people posting porn, it's women who make and post content. He's even commented on a few.
My heart kinda shattered. Now, I'm not super against porn. I even watch it once in a blue moon if I actually get alone time. But I have been a little bit sensitive because I had an ex who was addicted, and would compare me constantly to what he watched or just choose porn over me. That's kinda what I feel like might be happening here again. Lately, my husband's sex drive is massively down, and if I don't initiate anything it won't happen. He's been getting up after I go to sleep, on nights I've offered sex, to look at porn of women who look a million times different than me. I used to be curvy but small, but after I had a baby my body changed. He has made notes of positive comments on my body at times, and although he's walked them back they stuck with me, and that makes this sting more. I just feel really sad and lost now.
I felt like I had made great strides with accepting that men are gonna watch porn, and even though it's always gonna make me a little sad because of my own insecurities, it will be okay as long as he's not picking porn over me. But now I feel like he is picking it over me. How do I talk to him about all of this without coming off as angry or looking for a fight? And how do I explain that there's a difference to me between watching porn and constantly browsing specific profiles/subs? I don't know where to even begin with addressing the comments he's made. I'm also scared he's gonna deflect and accuse me of snooping, which I was genuinely not trying to do until I realized what I'd come across.
TLDR. I accidentally my husband's porn stash and realized he's been looking through and commenting on women's profiles and NSFW subs every night, sometimes shooting me down just to jerk off. I don't know how to explain to him that to me there's a difference in using something like a porn site to jerk off when I'm not in the mood versus him choosing to watch and interact with personal NSFW accounts and subs while telling me he's not in the mood for sex. This is a tough one. I've been in this exact situation, and for me it got worse. My partner's sex drive was down. I started turning to porn. Before I knew it I would just rather look at porn than even put in the effort for sex. Then her sex drive picked up and I had issues which I never have had before. It was all related to porn and was a big wake-up call to me. I stopped all porn and even stopped masturbating altogether. I made my sex life all about us and everything got better. Porn is a real slippery slope, especially when it involves trying to talk to sellers. I'd be worried for both you and him. Bring this up and start with letting him know you are not mad but concerned. Tell him how finding this made you feel. Make sure to not shame him to help him not get defensive. Focus on how this makes you feel and how you want to be close and intimate with him, and you feel like this is going to hurt that. Also ask him what is driving him more and more to porn. Ask him why it seems he prefers porn to you. I can tell you when my porn use was at an all-time high I thought my partner didn't want sex, and so I would just wait for her to initiate with me. Then I learned that she was kinda doing the same and also wanted me to initiate more. It took some adjustment, but I came into my own. I had to summon my inner man and just start showing her I wanted her. Because I did. I was just lazy and insecure at times. Let him know how much you want him.
If it's true, let him know he has a pretty open window with you. My partner let me know if I was feeling it at 2 a.m. to just wake her up and we could get it on. It gave me some encouragement knowing that she wanted it as much as me and I didn't need to wait for the right moment. I just needed to be more open with my needs. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm an open book on my experience.
My boyfriend was really bad about it too. A Reddit account full of porn and over 200 followed porn accounts on Twitter plus his normal viewing. It got to the point he was choosing it over me all the time, and it became a really big problem. It completely turned me into the porn police. Even though I had never had a problem with casual viewing, I couldn't get on board with all this. So after many times of me talking to him and crying and it getting to the point I was so self-conscious, I started shutting down entirely. He finally started deleting little by little. First he deleted Twitter completely. Then he deleted all subreddits down to 2 that were hentai subreddits, but then when I noticed he was viewing those obsessively again, he deleted those. Then he deleted all his porn accounts except one. And when he went to look at one animated porn video on it, I was fine with the one. But then he went back and started scrolling watching 67, and when I pointed out how easy it was for him to fall back into that addicting habit, he deleted that account as well. Now, our sex life is amazing and doesn't suffer whatsoever. We're in a much better place now. But porn addiction is easy to hide and is so detrimental to a relationship. I suggest having an open and honest conversation with him. I have been in very similar circumstances. So I feel your pain. It sucks. And a lot of these comments telling you that porn is just the way of the world, get over it, are from people lacking tact. I get you. Porn is something that the world has made us feel like we have to be okay with it. In fact, you don't. Some people aren't okay with their partners doing lots of things most couples are okay with. The main thing is the understanding needs to come from both sides on what is and isn't okay in your relationship. If you're okay with him watching porn, then fine. If you're not okay with it, then that's also fine. If he's okay with you asking him to cut down his porn use, then fine. If he isn't, then fine. All in all, you both need to sit and talk about it in depth. Don't make gray or blurry lines. You both need to set your boundaries and understand them. You will both make mistakes in those boundaries at times. Because we're all human. But if you don't understand them, then things like this will pop back up a myriad of times. I've been where you are. I recently found out my partner had been using OnlyFans because he asked me to look for an email on his email for him, and his subscription email notices were right there. I wasn't snooping. But now I was faced with this information. OnlyFans is a no-go boundary for me. But because we had not discussed porn in depth and left it to the don't ask, don't tell world, he didn't know that something like that would hurt me. When I set my boundaries and he set his, then we were actually able to move on and discuss the subject with better context. None of that is easy. It's all easier said than done. But communication does go a long way. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. I'm sorry for what you're going through. My husband and I are currently in a similar situation. Other people have gone into more detail, so I don't feel the need to get into it myself. And you've gotten a lot of good advice from others. But I would like to offer a piece of advice we got from his therapist. If you are watching porn when you have a fully ready and willing partner right there, something you desire is not being fulfilled. Find out what he's missing and then figure out how you can work together to fix it. Another big thing is to approach the problem as something to fight together. Not you fighting him. He has a problem. He is not himself the problem. So work together to fix it. Finally, give yourself time to heal. It's gonna be difficult and messy, and you'll probably fight and both feel hurt by each other. Be painfully, exceedingly patient with one another. Remember that you care for each other and want the best for each other. So actively avoid assuming the worst and ask questions and communicate everything. Even if it feels tedious and redundant. Because misunderstandings, even little ones, can make tense situations like this spiral wildly out of control. P.S. I would like to note that him making comments about you not being as attractive. IIRC. I can't check ATM to see exactly what you said he said. Is a little Seuss. Try and figure out what that's about as well. 'Cause it will likely inform a lot of why he's being the way he is. Best of luck. Feel free to reach out if you want to chat about it. I felt like I was reading our situation from an alternate reality when I read your post. He is a grown man. He knows there is a difference between browsing porn and literally contacting, or believing he is contacting, particular sex workers with compliments and other comments. I would not approach this as you are imagining. I would simply ask him to explain himself. Ask him what he intends to do to repair your trust in him after you found him interacting with sex workers on the internet. He's in the wrong and he knows it. Don't let him turn this around on you in any way. You may also want to demand marriage counseling, especially because you are anticipating him turning his bad behavior into accusations against you. A year ago, I found out my husband talked to an 18-year-old on OnlyFans a few times and paid for her content. We are in our 30s and it absolutely shattered me. I have never looked at him the same and I'm probably going to leave him eventually. I'm so sorry. Porn addiction is very real. The industry knows how to latch on to people's souls and trap them. However, you agree he's in way deeper. By interacting, etc., you have already come to terms with reality. Saw the situation from multiple angles and dealing with your emotions all by yourself. The fate of this situation lies mostly in your husband's hands. All you can do is help him see your reality by expressing your perspective. For successful conversation, try to distance yourself of emotions of shame, guilt and resentment beforehand. He might or might not agree to talk as it is hard for lots to accept their shadows. If you wish to preserve your relationship, you need lots of patience, strength and love on both sides. But it sounds like you're already doing your part. Might I also suggest a couples therapist after conversation, as this is a common issue for many long-term couples. These comments are a bit disappointing. My favorite part of these posts are the guys that come in telling you that it's not a big deal and to just accept it. If it's a big deal to you and a boundary was crossed, then that's all that matters. It's like the porn addicts identify themselves. My husband also struggled with porn, and I also found out how bad it was based on his Reddit history. I was also just looking for a post he showed me, so I know exactly how much a gut punch you are dealing with. The only thing that worked for us was eliminating the triggers. Apps like Reddit and Instagram that are seemingly innocent until they discover the other side. Once he was no longer constantly being pulled into the rabbit hole of porn on these sites, he remembered that he had a wife, and now prioritizes our sex life. Our relationship has significantly improved, to where if he is still watching porn I would have no clue because the deficits in our sex life aren't there anymore. You have to set your boundaries and stick to them. You don't have to accept situations that you are uncomfortable with. Porn addiction is poisoning love. I will not tolerate any porn usage in my relationship after dating a manipulative porn addict for 4 years. It has caused me trauma that I still have to work through in therapy a year later.
That's cheating to me.
I am once again saying this. I really wish girls would stop trying to be okay with their BFs liking thirst traps and watching porn. It's okay to not want your partner to get off of other people and only have eyes for you, lol. R. Love after porn. He is picking porn over you because this is just what porn does. It has such a strong tendency to become addicting and you can't really prevent how it changes someone's preferences for real life sex. That's probably why he has gone from saying not nice things about your body to then rejecting sex and getting up to go look at porn. You don't sound very self-assured, and it sounds like you've listened to people online that tell you you have to accept things you don't feel good about it. You shouldn't listen to anyone that tells that, because it isn't true, and you should be assertive about the fact you don't like it and make that known. You're clearly upset about it, and from what you described, it's valid to be upset. I won't even date people that have regular porn habits. And they're out there. It isn't something everyone just does or accepts. It's not just porn anymore once he's commenting to and reaching out to the content creators. Viewing content creators to me is gateway cheating. Normal porn on a website where they can't have conversations is normal. Dated a porn addict, and I feel the same as you. It sucks having to just accept that men watch porn. Like, why does that have to be normalized? I've always been the HL partner and am enthusiastic and willing to try anything, and my ex would lock himself in the bathroom for hours or leave in the middle of us having company over to go watch it, and then couldn't perform in bed. Regularly choosing porn over your willing partner is not okay. I would straight up tell your husband you've noticed a decrease in the amount of sex you're having and would like to know why. See what he says. Don't necessarily come at him angry or agitated, but try to have an open discussion about how you're feeling. BC, you are 100% justified to feel how you feel. Commenting on porn is very different than watching porn. That's sexual interaction with other people. And it is also super thirsty and lame. I'm a little surprised by some of these comments. If you never set the boundary with him about not interacting with sex workers or commenting on porn subs, you're still allowed to address it with this new information. You're allowed to feel hurt. This presents a chance to reset your expectations and be true to your feelings and past experiences. Give him a chance to do the same without fear of judgment. Once you're on the same page, you can, hopefully, move forward. Just because he technically didn't cheat or do anything wrong, doesn't mean you're not valid in feeling this pain and insecurity. It's possible that when he hears how this affects you, he will never do it again. If he has differing opinions on the subject, now is as good a time as any to get those out in the open. It's unfortunate it had to happen under these circumstances. Best of luck. Just tell your husband when you saw the porn you felt hurt and insecure. His response is more important than the porn itself. See how he responds.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.